again everybody, it's Mel from Stocksbridge Guitar Tech. We're here at lesson 27, and in today's lesson we're going to have a look at the major scale in a bit more detail. We're going to learn the major scale formula, how you can make a major scale, how you can find out a major scale for any key. So let's get straight into it and let's have a look at the major scale. We have briefly touched on the major scale before, but today I'm going to show you the formula, how we can work out the major scale. So the major scale has the formula tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now Americans would call these half steps and whole steps. So in American terminology it would be whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Entirely the same thing, just two different ways of looking at it. But here in the UK we say tone and semitone. So all these are a tone. You can think of a tone on the guitar as moving 2 frets. So if we move on the low E string from this 3rd fret to the 5th fret, we've moved up 2 frets, and that's a tone. If we move up another 2 frets to the 7th fret, that's a tone, and so on. And a semitone is half that distance, so it's 1 fret. So if we moved from this 1st fret to the 2nd fret, we've moved a semitone, and then from the 2nd to the 3rd fret we've moved another semitone. So to find a major scale, we'll use C major as an example. It's the easiest one to understand because it doesn't contain any sharps or flats. So we'll start here at the 8th fret, and we would move up a tone from that C. So we play the root note, which in this case is C, because we're trying to find out the notes of the C major scale. So we start on C, and then from C we move a tone, which gives us this D. Then you can write that down. So now you know that the 2nd note in a C major scale is D. And then from this D we're going to move up another tone, which gives us an E. So now you know that the 3rd note in this C major scale is an E. Then we need to move a semitone, which is just a single fret. So we move from this E to this note here, which is an F. So now we know that F is the 4th note in the C major scale. We started on C, 1, then we went to D, 2, by moving a tone, then we went to E, 3, by moving a tone, and now we're at F. We've got to F by moving a semitone. So now we need to move another tone, which gives us G. Then we need to move another tone, which gives us A. And then we need to move another tone, which gives us B. And that's our last note of the scale, because the next move we make, a semitone, brings us back to another C. So that's just the octave. So that's a C, and that's a C. So we've started at C, we've moved tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And that's how we discover a major scale. So now you can do this anywhere. So if I wanted, for example, to find out the notes of the F sharp major scale. I would find my F sharp here, and then I would repeat that same process. So I'd move up a tone. So that's my second note in this F sharp major scale, which is a G sharp. Then I would move another tone. That gives me an A sharp, which would be the third note in this F sharp major scale. Then I'm going to move a semitone, which gives me a B. So B is the fourth note of the F sharp major scale. Then I'm going to move a tone, which gives me a C sharp. That's the fifth note of this scale. Move another tone. That gives me a D sharp, which would be the sixth note of the F sharp major scale. Then I'm going to move another tone. Now this actually gives me an F, but because we're already using the letter F here, F sharp, we can't use F again. So we have to call this E something. So there's our E. We've sharpened it by one semitone. So we would have to call this, in this case, E sharp. And then finally, we're going to move a semitone, which brings us back to our F sharp. So we've got F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp and F sharp, and that would be the F sharp major scale. Now that's an extreme example because we've got that E sharp in there, which is a sort of unusual note. But let's do G major. So here's G. We'd move up a tone, gives us A. Move up another tone, gives us B. Move up a semitone, gives us C. Move up a tone, gives us D. Move up a tone, gives us E. Move up another tone, gives us F sharp, and then a semitone brings us back to G. And you can think of these as Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. 7 notes: Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. So now I'll teach you how to play the C major scale on the guitar, going from the low E string onto the high E string. So this is the most common fingering pattern. So our C note is here at fret number 8, which you should know by now. So we've got E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B and C at the 8th fret. So we're going to cover frets 7, 8, 9 and 10. 1 fret to each finger. So index gets 7, middle gets 8, ring gets 9, pinky gets 10. We're starting on the 8th fret, so that's middle finger. So we're starting on the low E string at the 8th fret with the middle finger, and that's our root note, our C. From there we want to move up a tone to D, so we're going to play that with the pinky on fret 10. Then from there we're going to drop down to the 5th string and play the 7th fret with the index finger, and that's an E. Same as here, as if we'd moved up a tone. So now we're on 5th string, 7th fret. Now we're going to play the 8th fret on the 5th string, which gives us F. We're going to play the 10th fret on the 5th string, which gives us G. and we're going to drop to the 4th string with the index in 7. That gives us A. Then we're going to play 9 with the ring finger on the 4th string, which gives us a B. And then we're going to play 10 on the 4th string with the pinky, which gives us our C again. So that's 1 octave. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B and C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that's the first octave, so I suggest you practice that first and get that down. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And also play it in reverse. So that's the first octave of that C major scale. So now we're here at fret 10 on the 4th string, and this is our root again. So now we're going to drop down to the 3rd string and play the 7th fret, which gives us a D again. So we've got C, D, then we're going to the 9th fret of the 3rd string. That gives us another E. So we've got C, D, E, then we're going to the 10th fret on the 3rd string, which gives us F. Now we're dropping to the 2nd string and playing at the 8th fret with the middle finger, which gives us G. Then we're going to play the 10th fret of the B string with the pinky, which gives us A. And then we're going to play the high E string on the 7th fret, which gives us a B. And then we're going to play on the high E string the 8th fret with the middle finger, and that gives us another C. So that's 2 octaves. We've gone from this C to this C to this C. And you can add the pinky on 10 to give you an extra note there. So we can go. So that is the C major scale across 2 octaves. So across all 6 strings. And once you've learned this scale, you can repeat it all over the neck. So for example, if I wanted to play an A major scale, I'd simply move my starting point to an A here, and I'd play that exact same pattern. If I wanted to play a G major, I'd move it down to here and start with my middle finger on G. So once you've learned this pattern, you can play more or less in all 12 keys by just simply moving that pattern around. But just get the C major one down first. So starting at the 8th fret with the middle finger, so we play 2 on the low E string, 2 notes, Then we play 3 notes on the 5th string, 3 notes on the 4th string, 3 notes on the 3rd string, 2 notes on the 2nd string, and either 2 or 3 notes on the 1st string. We only actually need to play those 2 to complete the scale. But we can add that high D if we want to give us an extra note. So practice the scale up and then practice it down until you can play it fluently at a reasonable speed. You don't have to play it that fast. Start off slow, it doesn't matter how slow, just keep the tempo consistent. So that speed, or even slower if you need to, it's fine. Speed's not important at this stage, it's just getting the notes and getting that pattern under your fingers. That's today's lesson for you folks, the major scale. So in the next lesson, lesson 28, I'm going to look in more detail with you at the intervals within that major scale. These are very important because once you know the intervals, you will be able to create your own chords. You will be able to make up and build your own chords once you understand the intervals within that major scale. So I hope you'll join me for the next lesson, lesson 28. As always, please remember to subscribe and click the little bell if you find these lessons useful. And that's all for today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.